Good morning, students. Hope everyone is doing fine there. Right? So today we will be continuing with the validation activities again. Right? And we did unit testing in the last lecture. Along with the unit testing, we also discussed the unit test environment, which constitutes of driver and stub modules. Now, the second one is your integration testing. So what do we mean by integration testing? Integration testing is to test the module interfaces. That is, there is no error in the parameter passing when one module invokes another module. In simple terms, we'll say, okay, integration testing is to check the interface or the parameters which is being shared between the modules. Remember the module dependency graph? Say M is divided into M1, M2, M2 is further divided into M3 and M2, M4. So you can see the parameters has been passed, like a module is calling some other module, say M1 is calling M2 module with parameter A, right? Or M3 and M4 is being called by M2 using some parameters. So we are supposed to check these parameters. Actually, we call them as interfaces. So during the integration testing, different modules of a system are integrated in a planned manner using an integration plan. So what is an integration plan? It specifies the steps in the order in which a module are combined to realize the full system. So integration plan is, like you can say, we prepare that module dependency graph where we divided the module into submodules, right? So integration plan is how we are supposed to integrate it. Say let's suppose one way could be top-down approach. We start with the root module and we start integrating the modules from the top till the leaflets are achieved. Or another way could be bottom-up approach. We start with the leaf modules and we keep on combining them until unless root module is integrated, right? So what is the benefit we get out of it is it focuses on bugs caused by the interfacing, right? So we are able to identify the errors in the interfaces. Now, along with this, we'll see why do we carry out integration testing, the reasons, what are we supposed to identify. It exposes the inconsistencies between the calling sequences which are present, like M1 is calling M2, so there might be inconsistencies between them, right? So, or in the return, so that is being identified here. Or maybe the data is lost during the interface, so that can also be identified. Or it might happen individually the modules M1, M2, M3, M4 are working properly, but when we combine them together, they does not give the desired result due to some error, right? Or there might be mismatch in the data types or the valid ranges between the modules. So these are the four basic like you can say type of errors that can be identified during the integration testing. That is an inconsistencies, the lost data, or if you are not getting the desired result on combining them, or there is a mismatch between the data types and their valid ranges. Now coming up to the approaches of integration testing. There are basically three broad approaches. One is your decomposition based integration, second is a call graph based integration, and the third one is a path based integration, right? So today we are going to focus on this decomposition based integration techniques. So let me summarize once again what is an integration testing. Integration testing is to test the modules gradually, that is one by one. We'll see in the next method, like there are two types of decomposition techniques where you will find it is incremental and non-incremental. So we'll discuss it now. Let's see first of all what is decomposition based integration. The idea for this type of integration is based upon the decomposition of design into functional components or modules. Like we prepare a tree-like structure where we arrange the modules, their submodules, further submodules, and we prepare a tree-like diagram. In that tree, the nodes represents the modules while these edges represent the calling sequence. Like A is divided into B, C and D, while B is divided into E, F and G, C is divided into H and I, and D has just one submodule, that is J. So just a tree-like diagram is represented there. So in the tree structure, in the next figure, module A is linked to three subordinate modules, that is this. Okay, fine, we discussed it. All integration testing methods in the decomposition based testing assume that all the modules have been unit tested in isolation. So what is a mandatory condition to start with the integration testing is all the modules should be in unit tested prior to this, right? In isolation, now you remember what is in isolation. That means individual module has to be tested while creating an environment having dummy modules called as driver and stuff to carry out the testing, right? So if they are being unit tested, then we start with the integration testing. Thus, with the decomposition based integration, we want to test the interfaces among separately tested modules. Now, this was the tree-like diagram. Now, coming up to the classification. So decomposition based technique is like you can say integration testing methods are classified into two categories. First one is your non-incremental and second one is incremental. So as the name suggests, non-incremental means we are supposed to integrate all the modules together at one time. That means all these set of modules from A to J will be integrated at once, not in an incremental fashion, right? So this is known as Big Bang integration testing. Big Bang means as a whole, complete, on a large scale. So all the modules which are unit tested individually are combined together. This is known as non-incremental. But there are few drawbacks of this Big Bang integration testing, or you can say this is not practically adopted. Why it is not practically adopted is one basic reason is when you're going to integrate all the modules together. Let's assume these 8 modules are there, and we combine all the modules together and we identify certain error. So what is the possibility of the error? We know that individually these modules are tested and there is no error, they are unit tested. So the possibility of error is in these interfaces which are being shared between these modules. Now we have identified the error. Now we have to localize it. We have to identify its exact location. So when you are integrating all the modules together, then you need to search each and every interface which is in error. So it becomes a difficult task because you have to test one by one. This is a small example, but in a practical example, there will be multiples of modules and submodules, and identifying the error in the interfaces becomes a very challenging task because many number of interfaces are present and a number of or multiple parameters are being shared between them. So it is said it is difficult to localize the error since the exact location of bug cannot be easily found. Actual modules are not interfaced directly until the end of the software system. Another problem associated is you cannot interface all these modules together until and unless these are individually unit tested. That means once the complete unit testing is completed, then only you can start with the integration testing. While if it is non-incremental, let's assume an example, it's not sorry, it's incremental. So in case of incremental, say this is unit tested and now we have started with the this is also unit tested, 3 is also unit tested, now we are unit testing 6. So since these 3 modules are ready, we can start with the integration testing of these 3. We don't have to wait for all the 8 modules to be unit tested. Since these are ready and available for integration testing, we can start from the top-down approach. Or if these are available and we are proceeding with the unit testing with like bottom-up approach, so we can start with the integration from bottom-up. So this is what incremental. So you don't have to actually wait for unit testing. But in case of non-incremental, you need to wait for them. Now, in a Big Bang testing, third point requires more work. More work in the sense, say, according to the Big Bang theory, if all unit tested modules are integrated in this example, say the next slide, then for unit testing of all the modules independently, we require 4 drivers and 7 stubs. This count will grow according to the size of the system. So, more work in the sense, say I want to test this structure. Integration testing needs to be performed. So the mandatory condition is these must be unit tested. So if I start with the unit testing of this, so how many driver modules are required? Driver are the top modules, right? So for these two, this will be a driver. For this is going to be a driver. For these two, this will be a driver, and for these two, this will be a driver. So how many total drivers? 1, 2, 3, and 4. So we require 4 drivers for the unit testing of this, while 7 stubs. Say I want to test, stub means the lower modules. So below this 1, 2, right? Below this this, below this, these are the two below this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Altogether 7 stubs are required. So stubs and drivers are the dummy modules which we simulate externally. They are not the actual modules. So extra work, effort and time is required for that. So this is one of the another problem with Big Bang integration. So we have seen practically it is not adopted. First of all, more work. Second, actual modules are not interfaced until and unless complete unit testing is over. And third one, it becomes difficult to localize the errors. So this was your non-incremental or Big Bang integration testing. Now the second one is your incremental integration testing. So by default, we mean integration testing means it is incremental in nature only. Incremental means one at a time. In increments, we are going to integrate the system. Say we had 8 modules and let's assume we are starting with say bottom up approach. So I'm going to integrate 6 and 7 first, because these cannot be integrated because there is no direct link. So 6 and 7 will be integrated and we test for the error. If there is any error, the only possibility of the error is this interface which is shared between 6 and 7, because 6 is unit tested, there was no error. 7 is also unit tested, there is no error. And since you are integrating this, the only possibility of this is error is in this interface. So we can easily localize. This was the problem in the previous one. We need to check each and every interface. While in this case, just one interface is there and will be debugging becomes easy. Once this is tested, this is known as partially tested system. Now, once this is tested and we have eliminated the error if it is present, we integrate with the third one. Since it is a bottom up, so next will be 8th module. So this partial test system integrated with the 8th module, you test it. If there is an error, only possibility is this interface because these are already tested and 8th is already tested. So again it is localized, so easily able to identify the error. Similarly, as we move upward, now this becomes a partially tested system. We integrate with the second module and then so likewise, one at a time, the modules are being added and we keep on checking it until unless the root module is reached. So this is what is incremental testing is. Now what is the benefit of performing this incremental integration testing? Incremental approach does not require many drivers and stubs as compared to the Big Bang approach. Interfacing errors are uncovered earlier because we are taking a small integration steps and errors are being localized also. The first aspect is the recently added module. So whichever is added recently, say we already tested this is recently added, so the maximum possibility is present in this. The error will be present in this interface only. Least possibilities error is present in the previous one which are already tested. Incremental testing is more thorough testing. More thorough testing means each time you are adding something, you need to test the entire system. Remember, whenever we make a change, we have to test the complete system again and again. So we are going to test the system a number of times. So the probability of identifying the error becomes more. Now, coming up to the types of incremental integration testing. So further dividing this incremental into two categories, that is top-down integration and bottom-up integration. Top-down integration, there are two approaches again. Either you go for depth-first integration or we go for breadth-first integration. So we'll see what are these approaches now with the help of an example. So top-down integration. Top-down integration is we start with the root module. We'll start with the root module and there are number of steps. We keep on adding or integrating these modules until unless all the modules are integrated. So this is your top-down integration, right? Modules subordinate to the top module are integrated in the following two ways. Now how to integrate them, right? First approach is depth-first integration. So depth-first means we will be integrating, first we'll be integrating 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Let's see. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Depth first. First go depth wise, then another will be depth wise. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8 will be the first one, and second will be 1, 3, 4 and 5. Let's see. So this is 1, 3, 4 and 5 will be integrated next. Well, if it is breadth first. So in a breadth first, how we are going to see, we'll move breadth wise. First of all, module 2 and 3 will be integrated. Coming up to the diagram. 2 and 3 breadth wise. This is breadth. This is depth. So 2 and 3 will be integrated first. In the second cycle, 6, 4, 5 will be integrated, and in the third step, 7 and 8 will be integrated. So simply moving from top to down only, but two approaches, either go depth wise, that is 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, and second will be 1, 3, 4 and 5, or go it from breadth wise. So that is also top to bottom only, 2 and 3, then 6, 4, 5, and then 7 and 8. So this is these two approaches. Right? Now what is the procedure for top-down integration? So how to proceed with? We start with the top or the initial module. Instead of reading this, let's jump to the example directly. The procedure says, for the same example where we had 7 modules, we have to start from top to bottom. Right? So at top to bottom, first of all, we'll take the module under test. Right? And we have to integrate with the 2 modules. Right? That is the 2 and the third one. Top down hai. So we'll be identifying this is a breadth first approach, I guess. Right? So now we cannot take the original module in the integration testing also. So we'll be taking the stub for this. The lower modules are known as stub, while the upper one are known as driver. So remember, in top-down approach, we require the stub modules, not the driver module, because driver modules are at the top, nothing is there above this one. So we'll take one dummy module for 2, that is stuff for 2, and we'll take stuff for 3. Now we integrate and test it. Right? So one by one that will be done. We take this. In the second step, what we'll do? Since you integrated and tested this one, you replace this stuff with the original module. Now you add stuff for 6, which was below this one. Right? Then next step is this. In order to perform the testing of these two, we require the stub 6. So we took this one. Another one is 3. Now we have to integrate these two, so require the stub for the below modules. So we took the stub for 4 and 5 module. Then once this is over, now we have to test this 6 one integrating with the previous or partially tested system. So we require stub of the lower modules. We took this. Once this is tested, coming up to the next one, now the fourth one tested, we take stuff for 5. In the next step, 5 will be replaced with the original one, just left out as this, then replace this with the original one, integrate and test it, done, and replace with that, integration and test it. So this was the original structure, and now this is incrementally we have added them, integrated them and tested them in a top-down fashion. Right? So this is simply moving from top to bottom. Whatever bottom ones you have, you take the stuff for that just to perform the testing of this one. Then 2 is required to integrate, so take the stub, because inputs are always provided by the lower module always, right? So input output operations are given by the lower module, that is required for the testing of the previous module. Then 3, 4 and 5 will be the stub. Then 6, 7 and 8 will be the stub. Now 4, you test it, right? There is nothing below 4, so nothing will be taken. Then 5 is stuff for 5. Now you test it, replace it with the original module and integrate and test it. Nothing below 5. Similarly, now take the 7 one, replace this stuff. Original 7 will be taken, nothing below this. Then 8, take the 8 one, nothing below this. So this is how top-down approach proceeds. So this is what is given here, and we keep on repeating this step until unless all modules are being added. So this was your top-down. Now what is the drawback? Stubs must be prepared as required for testing one module. So stubs are mandatory, you need to prepare them. Stubs are often more complicated than they appear first. So we have seen in the last lecture how to prepare a stub. We prepare a main module for stub. So it's a bit difficult task. Before the input-output functions are added, the representation of test cases in stub can be difficult. So I said input-output operations are always performed by the lower modules. We require a lower module to test the upper modules, so this becomes a difficult task. Now bottom-up integration testing. So bottom up integration testing is like opposite of the previous one. We start with the leaf modules and we move towards the root modules. Let's see with the procedure is given here. Now the diagram directly, the example. So same example, the complete structure is this. Now we have to go for bottom up. So we'll take the last two modules first. Bottom up. We want to test this. So we require a driver for this. We won't take the original module. We'll take the driver for this one. Drivers are the top modules. Now we don't require stub in this case. Only drivers are required in bottom up. So take the driver for 6, perform the testing. So we did this part. Now taking this part now. Take 4 and 5, driver for 3 will be taken and we perform the testing. Now merge it, right? 7, 8, replace driver of 6 with 6. So what is above this? 2. So take driver for 2, perform this testing. So we reach at this level in both the cases. This strand also and this strand also. Parallelly we started with 7 and 8, 4 and 5 and then now we reached at the 2 and 3. 2 and 3. Now replace this 2 and 3 with the original one. The stubs are being replaced. We'll take driver for 1. Right? We test this, integrate and test it and then it is replaced by the original module. So from bottom to top, this is how the testing is performed in case of bottom-up integration testing. Now what are the drawbacks? This type of integration is useful for integrating object-oriented systems, real-time systems, and the system with strict performance requirements. So applicable for these only, not the function-oriented approach, right? Bottom-up integration has the disadvantage that the software as a whole does not exist until the last module is added, right? So until unless all modules are added, because this is what the complete system is, which is broken down into subparts or submodules, then modules, submodules, submodules. So till all the modules are integrated in an incremental fashion, until unless this one is integrated, the overall functionality cannot be achieved because overall system is that one, the complete set of modules. It is also not an optimal strategy for functionally decomposed system as it takes the most important sub-functions last. So the important ones are at the top, that is the main system, while the lower one are the just a minimum of the functions, like 1 or 2 functions are there. So it's not an optimal strategy or a good strategy. So what is the comparison between the two? Architectural design. It discovers error in high level design, thus detects errors at an early stage, top down, right? While bottom up, high level design is validated at the later stage, so errors will be identified later on. System demonstration. Since we integrate the module from top to bottom, the high level design slowly expands as a working system. Therefore, feasibility of the system can be demonstrated to the top management. Fine, top down here, so we can demonstrate it easily. It may not be possible to show the feasibility of the design. However, if some modules are already built as reusable components, then it may be possible to produce some kind of demonstration. Else you have to wait for all the modules to get integrated and tested. Test implementation. Stubs are required for the subordinate modules, while node leaves, test drivers are required. Fine. In this case, stubs are required. In this case, drivers are required. But since we have seen that both of the approaches can be used in one of the particular scenario, but individually they are not complete in itself. So what we do is we have a third type which is more practical in nature, that is known as sandwiched integration testing. So sandwiched integration testing is nothing, it's an hybrid form of top-down and bottom-up, that is a combination of both the approaches, top-down and bottom-up strategies. So we can apply both of them where, see, in general, sandwich testing strategy that uses top-down test for upper levels of the program structure with bottom-up test for subordinate levels in the best compromise. So if the top modules are ready first, you start top-down. If the bottom modules are ready first, you can start with the bottom-up. So combination of both the things are practically possible if you are using this hybrid approach. So what is the important criteria, right? It totally depends upon the priority, which module to integrate first, whether to start with the top down or to start from the bottom up. It totally depends upon the priority, whichever is most relevant, important, right, is risk associated. So we prioritize them and accordingly we start with the testing. May it be top down or may it be bottom up. And also depends upon the availability. Whichever module is available first, from there you can start. So two factors responsible for this. Now, what is the pros and cons of overall decomposition-based integration testing? Right? Decomposition-based integration techniques are better for monitoring the progress because step by step we are doing it, we can easily monitor the progress. Thus, debugging is easy in decomposition-based because we know that since you're incrementally we are carrying it out, so there is a possibility of identifying the error at the early stage, right? However, there is more effort required because we are supposed to develop stubs and drivers. Now, the integration testing effort is computed as the number of test sessions. So, how you're going to calculate the effort? It depends upon the number of test sessions. A test session is one set of test cases for a specific configuration. So, test session is nothing. This is the set of test cases for a particular configuration or a scenario. So how to calculate it? Number of test session is equivalent to, from the structure we had module dependency graph, you can directly compute it from there using the expression nodes, number of nodes, minus leaves plus edges. This will give you the total number of test sessions. So the number of test session is directly proportional to the effort, so we can easily identify the effort using it. So this was an end to decomposition based. So we'll continue with another two techniques in the next lecture. Thank you all for today.